I didn't put it all together that the crashing was really your life, because I was going to ask before you came in, what did you do to like practice being a guy who gets cucked?
Yeah.
But then that actually happened?
When Twitter people call me a cuck, I'm like, that's just literal.
Yeah, like, I didn't realize that.
You're a fucking cuck. I'm like, yeah, that's been true for a decade. My wife fucked another big old dick.
Damn.
And
Did
I
you live
can't
with the
argue
guy
with
after,
that.
like you did in Crashing?
No.
Okay.
TV is so interesting because we had the guy on Crashing, a very, very different style of guy than the real life guy.
That cucked you.
That cucked me. You couldn't
Who was
wait.
the real guy?
He was
the real guy.
Like, he was like a little Italian guy. He was kind of like, oh.
Did he have like hair and just jewelry?
He was. He looked.
Oh, no,
not the jewelry thing. No, he wasn't like that. But he was what I'm not.
That's actually
He's like
better,
I liked
right?
him.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
being
better.
real. I like it. You're right.
Yeah.
If she left me for another soft, doughy
Doing
Lithuanian.
recognizance jokes.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
You made it better.
Yeah,
Recognizance.
right. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
That's exactly right. She went for like a man's man, and God bless her, and God bless. I mean that sincerely. But on the show, the guy that cucks me is like a hippie. His name is Leaf. He's played by George Basil.
Yep.
And he's just so fucking funny. You can't introduce that guy and then just be like, and then Pete did what you would do and never talk to him again. You gotta, and that's all Judd. He's like, they have to become friends.
And you won though because you made a story out of it and a really good show out of it.
That's interesting. You're so
You
sports.
got the last
even
laugh.
in life,
No,
you're
you
like
did.
at the end when the buzzer went off, you were ahead.
Yeah, you were ahead.
When you're doing a show like that, is it actually like therapeutic for you to get that all out in the open, or is it just like as comedians sometimes we just use laughs to like cover up what's underneath?
I think you could do it either way, but it is therapeutic. We do these scenes with like completely lifted from my life. Fights I've had with girlfriends, fights I've had with my parents, and we're redoing them. And you're in it, you're fighting, you're swearing, you're having this very surreal, almost like Black Mirror moment. And then someone goes, cut, and then you go like, oh, wow, it's like the most expensive therapy, and HBO is paying for it. It's fucking crazy.
You like how I tossed in that we, as in like we comedians?
Yeah,
I like
and you just went right
Us
along with it.
comedians.
That
I
made
went
me feel really good.
PFT, you hitting the stage. Have you done stand-up?
I have not done stand-up.
I bet you'd be great.
I don't know about that.
You're not into it?
I have a weak bladder. I'm like Jim Boeheim when I get under a spotlight. I just...
It's not for you, but you like doing this?
Wait, did you Second City?
I got rejected from Second City. Denied.
I actually did a class once at Second City, and then I left at like the piss break halfway through the first one.
You were out.
I paid for like 6 of them, and it was just too many. There were like kids that were 22, and I
Who
was maybe
teaching
28.
the class?
I don't know.
Artie Lange. Piss break.
Oh yeah, well, so I got my Artie story for you.
Yeah, I can't wait.
So I got Artied. So in Crashing,
Artied.
Artie Lange is in Crashing, and we should go back up a little. Crashing is a semi-autobiographical story.
Semi-erotic. I thought
Okay,
you were
yeah.
gonna say.
Well, I have another question about that. But
You're fun.
so Artie is in it. He's, it's the life of a stand-up comedian trying to make it in New York City.
Yes.
And there's a scene where he just no-shows, like a couple, like very important engagements.
Because Artie is an addict, he actually was very helpful in writing that episode.
Yeah.
And if you believe it or not, me and Judd Apatow, who produces the show, we were like, Artie, how do you lie to people to steal away and do heroin? Not to be funny, to be real.
Right.
And he was like, I do this, I do this, I do this. And we wrote it into the episode.
So,
he was like a co-creator of that episode.
Yeah, so I watched, it was almost like the exact same time I was watching that episode that we were trying to get Artie on the podcast for something we were doing with Joe Buck. And I talked to Artie's people. I had the car. They had called him a car. We had everything set up.
Yeah.
Artie doesn't show.
Yeah.
Artie doesn't show.
Yeah.
Artie doesn't. Then like maybe 8 hours later, he texts and is just like, "I'm so sorry. I slept through it." And I was like, "Well, I guess the Crashing is very true to form."
There's a lot of, it's a disease. It really is. I'm not trying to be correct or polite. It's a fucking disease, and nobody wants to get over it more than Artie. And you can feel that sincerity coming off of him. But it's got you. It gets you by the. He says it's like breathing.
Right.
So he's like, if you say don't do heroin, he's like, that's like saying don't breathe.
Don't breathe. Yeah.
And he's like, and I get this out as much as I can. Don't fuck with that shit. Don't fuck with opioids.
Yeah.
It really gets you.
No, it is.
Yeah.
So
Stick to meth.
So
That's
the
what I
whole
told you.
So the whole
You could have said weed.
weed.
Meth is okay.
Legalize it.
PFT.
Legalize it.
PFT.